Saving money feels useless. I know, it's a controversial thing to say, but let's be honest for a second. When you first start, nothing changes. You make that first transfer, $50, $100, into a savings account. You check your main account, and it's just a little bit emptier. You check your savings account, and it has $100 in it. The world hasn't changed. The sun still rose this morning, and guess what? Your rent is still due, your car still needs gas, and that grocery bill isn't getting any smaller. It feels like you're just moving money from one pocket to another. Except one pocket is locked and you can't use it for anything fun. For weeks, maybe even months, you keep doing it. You sacrifice that morning coffee. You say no to dinner with friends. You skip buying that new game you were excited about. And for what? To watch a number in an app go up by a tiny amount? Your bank balance barely seems to move. It's like trying to fill a swimming pool with a teaspoon. The effort feels massive, but the result is almost invisible. It's incredibly discouraging. You see people online flashing their fancy vacations and new cars, and you're over here feeling virtuous for saving $20. It feels pointless. You start to wonder, what's the big deal? Why am I doing this? Life is still happening. Bills are still coming, and I don't feel any richer or more secure. In fact, I just feel poorer. Because now I have less money to actually live my life. It's a lonely, frustrating process, and it's no wonder so many people give up. They think this isn't working, and go right back to their old habits. But they're missing the point. They're quitting right before the magic happens. So, let's talk about what's really going on during this frustrating early stage. The first thing you need to understand is that your early savings are like an invisible shield. You can't see it. You can't feel it. It doesn't make you look cool. It's just there, quietly building in the background. Think of it like this. When you start a new video game, you spend the first few hours collecting basic gear. A simple wooden shield, a basic leather tunic. It's not exciting. You're not fighting dragons with it. You're probably just fighting off low-level goblins. But that gear is what keeps you alive long enough to level up and get to the exciting parts of the game. Your first few hundred, or even your first $1,000 in savings, is that basic gear. It's not meant to feel exciting. Its job is to be your first line of defense against the small, annoying goblins of life. A flat tire, a slightly higher than expected utility bill, an unplanned trip to the doctor. These are the things that would normally knock you off your feet and send you spiraling into credit card debt. But with your invisible shield, they just bounce off. You handle it and you move on. You don't see the protection until it's been used, and that's why it feels so anticlimactic at the start. This leads directly to my second point. Emergency funds don't feel good. They're not supposed to. We're so used to associating money with pleasure, with buying things that give us an instant hit of happiness. A new phone, a great meal, a vacation. These things provide immediate gratification. An emergency fund is the complete opposite. It's delayed gratification to the extreme. It's money you're specifically putting aside for a bad day. Who gets excited about planning for a bad day? No one. It's like buying a fire extinguisher. You don't walk out of the store thrilled, thinking about all the fun you're going to have with your new fire extinguisher. You put it under the sink, and you hope you never, ever have to use it. But you're glad it's there. Your emergency fund is your financial fire extinguisher. It sits there, collecting digital dust, doing absolutely nothing for your daily happiness. It doesn't earn you a lot of interest. It doesn't impress your friends. Its sole purpose is to be there when things go wrong. And because you hope things never go wrong, you resent its existence a little. It's just a pile of money you can't touch. But that feeling of resentment, that feeling of it being useless, is a sign that things are going right. It means you haven't had an emergency. And that's a good thing. The third and perhaps most important point is that saving creates peace long before it creates wealth. We get obsessed with the idea of becoming wealthy. We see headlines about investing and compound interest and retiring as a millionaire. And while those are great long-term goals, they are not the point of saving your first $1,000. The first return you get on your savings isn't financial, it's emotional. It's peace of mind. It's the subtle, quiet shift that happens in your brain when you know you have a buffer. It's the absence of a certain kind of anxiety. It's sleeping a little better at night because you know that if your car breaks down tomorrow, it will be an inconvenience, not a catastrophe. It's being able to make decisions from a place of stability, not desperation. This peace is the foundation upon which all future wealth is built. You can't think clearly about investing or long-term goals when you're constantly worried about how you're going to pay next month's rent. By saving, you are buying yourself mental and emotional space. You're clearing the fog of financial anxiety so you can see the path ahead. This peace is the real, tangible benefit you get from day one, even if your bank balance doesn't look impressive yet. You just might not notice it until you stop to think about what you're not feeling anymore. That constant, low-level panic. And that brings us to the turning point. The moment it all clicks. It's not when you hit a certain number in your bank account. It's not when you can suddenly afford a down payment on a house. It's much simpler, and it usually arrives unannounced. It's the moment something goes wrong, and you don't panic. Maybe you get a call from the mechanic. Yeah, it's going to be $900 to fix your brakes. And you take a deep breath. The old you would have felt a pit in your stomach. Your heart would be racing. You'd be frantically thinking, which credit card has room? Can I borrow money from someone? Will I have to sell something? But the new you, the you that has been quietly saving, just says, okay, go ahead and fix it. Or maybe your pet gets sick and needs an emergency vet visit. It's stressful, it's emotional, but the financial part of the equation isn't the main source of your stress. You can focus on your pet's health because the money is there. You just transfer it from your savings and handle it. And later that day, or maybe the next, you'll be sitting there, and it will hit you. That feeling, it wasn't panic. It was competence, control. You had a problem, and you solved it. You were your own hero. You didn't need a loan. You didn't need to go into debt. You just used the tool you had been building, one small deposit at a time. That is the moment. That's when you realize it wasn't pointless. That's when you know it worked. All those little sacrifices, all that discipline. It was all for this moment of quiet strength. And once you feel that, you will never want to go back to living without it. So, how do we get there? How do we push through that initial frustration to reach that turning point? My first piece of advice is to forget about saving for retirement or for a house, just for a little while. Your first goal is simple and tangible. Build a $1,000 buffer. That's it. Don't call it an emergency fund if that word stresses you out. Call it your peace of mind fund or your problem solver account. $1,000 is a magical number because it's enough to cover the most common, unexpected expenses that derail people's finances. It's achievable within a reasonable time frame for most, which gives you a win to celebrate. Focus all your energy on hitting that one target. Sell some stuff you don't need. Pick up a few extra hours at work. Cut one subscription. Put all of that extra cash towards this one goal. Once you hit that $1,000 mark, a huge weight will lift off your shoulders. My second piece of advice is to stop chasing motivation. Motivation is flaky. It comes and goes. You'll feel super motivated after watching a video like this, and then tomorrow morning, you'll want to buy that expensive coffee again. Don't rely on it. Instead, build a system. Automate it. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account for the day after you get paid, even if it's just $25. The key is to make it happen without you having to think about it or use your willpower. Willpower is a finite resource. A system runs on its own. You're not trying to save, you just are saving. It becomes a non-negotiable part of your financial life. Just like paying your rent or your electricity bill, you're paying yourself first, and you're making it automatic so your lazy, unmotivated future self can't mess it up. And finally, my most important takeaway for you is to change your mindset. Treat saving like insurance, not excitement. You pay for car insurance every month, and you don't get excited about it. You do it because you understand it protects you from a potential disaster. Your savings is self-insurance. It's insurance against job loss, medical bills, and all the curveballs life will inevitably throw at you. When you frame it this way, it stops feeling like a sacrifice and starts feeling like a responsible, adult act of self-care. You're not depriving yourself. You're protecting your future self. You're giving the person you will be in 6 months, or a year, or 5 years, the gift of security and options. The excitement doesn't come from watching the balance grow. The real reward is the feeling you get when you realize you're in control. Remember, peace is the first return on saving. Wealth might come later, but peace of mind is available to you right now, starting with your very first deposit. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're prepared. That is a feeling that is worth more than any fancy coffee or new gadget. So start building your shield. Start paying for your peace of mind insurance. You will thank yourself later. Thanks for watching, and if this helped, consider subscribing for more.